you guys hear about the new guy? What new guy? 3? Yeah, 3. They say he's crazy. They say he's a 7 killer. What, a 3 killing a 7? You gotta be crazy. Aw, you should see the guy. He's got a crazy kind of look about him.
Yes, today I've got my hands on the Ryzen 3 3100. This is the closest I've ever got my hands on a CPU this close to its launch date. So let's take a look and see what it can do. So this is a 4-core 8-thread CPU for under £100. In fact, this one cost just £99. And it's based on the Zen 3 architecture, so you're getting a 7nm CPU for under £100, which is amazing, but just how good is it? Well, a lot of the original claims around this and its slightly bigger brother, the 3300X, are that this is as good, if not better, than Intel's 7700K, which, considering a lot of Intel fanboys still reckon that that is a great CPU, well, if the bottom of the Ryzen pile can do as good of a job or better, then that kind of makes the 7700K completely redundant. So let's take a little look at a few benchmarks. Let's see how this thing stacks up compared to a 7700K. What we saw was 2 out of 3 of the benchmarks go to the Ryzen 3's favour, which in itself is pretty impressive. The only thing I can really put down the V-Ray benchmark falling behind to is going to be an instruction set that is favoured by Intel and not so much by the AMD architecture. Other than that, they are pretty much on par, with the Ryzen 3 just edging ahead on the other 2 benchmarks. So next up, let's have a little look at how gaming performs. Alright, so I'm going to have a quick look at Csgo. This is usually a heavily Intel favouring title, so let's see what sort of FPS we get out of this. Just so you're aware, we have got a GTX 1660 in here. I'm not sure how good of a matchup this is going to be for this CPU. If it's anywhere near as good as the 7700K as it's claiming to be, then this CPU will probably hold it back, but that GPU will hold it back. However, that being said, it does mean that we're going to get the maximum possible frames out of this GPU. So let's at least find out what that is. Now, honestly, we're really not learning all that much here, but we're getting, well, look at that, well over 300 frames a second for a moment there. We're really not getting any problems gaming with this CPU. I suck at these games. I'm getting killed by bots, man, this is terrible. Okay, so under a little bit more action at the very least. We're under 200 frames a second. It's probably more down to the GPU than the CPU at this point though, where it's allowed to run free and unhindered. We were getting over 300. So this hasn't been the most intensive test. In fact, if you want very intense testing, go and check out someone like Gamers Nexus, who will just give you every single bit of data there is available. But overall, 2 of the 3 benchmarks that we ran were comparable, or even in some cases slightly better than the 7700K. And for gaming, I mean, yeah, we tried out Csgo, which is usually an Intel favoured title. No problems. We've got over 300 frames a second, even with just a GTX 1660. But that doesn't really strike the blow to the 7700K. It kind of puts it on par. The real area that this thing makes the 7700K redundant is in its value. Now, right now, if you check out on eBay, the 7700K second hand is going for over £200. In fact, there are bids on right now around 230 to 250 at the time of checking this. People are still bidding on a 7700K, but for that much money, you could get yourself a 3100, a 240mm water cooler, 16GB of RAM, and a B450M motherboard. Now, I know you're saying B550 is just around the corner, but you know what? This doesn't matter. This is £250 for a system completely brand new that is better or as good as a 7700K, which means if you're one of these people that has got something less than that right now, so let's say you've got a 6th or 7th Gen i5, if you were thinking of upgrading to a 7700K, that means that you were going to spend about £250 on eBay. But what's the point? You could get yourself a brand new system on an upgradable platform, and that's right, B450 has been announced to support the Ryzen 4000 series. So, to me, the 7700K is dead. There is no point in buying it. In fact, the 3300X will do a better job than this 3100. A lot of the other testing has shown that, but and for the price, £99, you can't get a 7700K for that much money. If you've got one of those older systems, don't bother. So I just want to show you one more test before we do this, actually comparing Ryzen to Ryzen. So just so you can see just how good the architecture is on the Zen 3 processors. Or is it Zen 2? Zen 2 3rd gen. That's the one that we're looking at. I'm going to apply the 4.3 GHz all-core overclock onto this CPU right now. And I'm going to do the same to my 3950X, which is the top of the range, is the flagship of the desktop processors. And just to see how comparable the architecture between these two chips really is, even though one of them is £99 and the other one is £650, we're going to do a single core test on Cinebench. By locking them both at the same speed, we can see just how scalable this architecture actually is. Okay, so the 3950X scored a 201 and the 3100 scored a 196. So that's just 5 points between them. That's pretty much, once again, within the margin of error. Now, obviously, the 3950X can boost a lot higher. It can go up to 4.7 GHz on single core. But what this is really proving is that when they're locked at the same, they're scoring the same. So 4.3 GHz on a 3100 gives you the same single core performance as 4.3 GHz on a 3950X. What does that prove? Well, in terms of gaming, if you're looking for a good gaming chip, most people will say that actually the single core performance is pretty important, which it is for certain titles. Multi-core is getting a little bit more usable and utilised these days, but for £99, if you also get a water cooler with this thing, you can probably get it up to 4.5 GHz. which is not far behind AMD's flagship's boost clock 3900X. Will go up to 4.6, 4.7. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong somewhere here. But yeah, in terms of gaming ability, this 3100 is actually really, really good value for money. This thing doesn't realise it's a budget chip. So once again, if you were looking to upgrade on a budget, if you're looking for a new build, you might be hearing a lot of people right now telling you, don't bother, there's new stuff coming around the corner, Intel 10th gen and Ryzen 4000. Well, if you're going to build on a budget, right now, do it. There's no reason to wait. This 3100 is going to give you some great gaming performance when paired with a mid-range card. So probably anything up to a 2060, you're going to really get a very good matchup with this CPU. The B450M boards are pretty cheap. They're going to support Ryzen 4000. They have officially announced that now. And I mean, yes, you could wait for Ryzen 4000 to drop, but considering that these only just launched, you're looking at least another year until we get a budget CPU to take this one's place. So yes, while stuff is only just around the corner, realistically it isn't. If you're gonna buy a PC, buy a PC. The only time it's ever really worth waiting is like if it's launching in 2 days and you've only just thought about it. If you're waiting 4 months for an announcement, just buy it now. You might not have the money in 4 months' time. If you've got the money now to buy a PC, buy it. And if you're buying on a budget, buy this. Okay, so that just about wraps up my review of the Ryzen 3 3100. Hope that was informative for you. And until next time, see you later.